Today I'm going to cover 20 Bible verses that describe evil women and bad wives. What does the Word of God say about red flags? Well, let's find out, shall we? A while back I read a very interesting article which covered 25 Bible verses on evil women and bad wives, which is what I'm going to share with all of you today. And to cut it shorter, I'm only going to cover the first 20. However, I will link the article down below in the description so you may follow along with me or check it out yourselves once you finish watching this video. So, with that said, let's start. So initially, they give us an introduction, which I'm going to read, and then we're going to get into the verses. Bible verses about evil women. Scripture lets us know to stay away from evil women. They are greedy, rebellious, unsubmissive, wicked, adulterous, gossiping, slandering, and sexually immoral. Bad wives and evil women in the Bible have done great damage, such as lead Solomon astray, betray Samson, and order the killing of John the Baptist. Evil women will cause Christian men to compromise and sin. They are on the wrong path and will bring you down with them. Beware. In every nice-sized church, there are worldly women put there by Satan to trap godly men. Even if you go to church and you come across a good traditional girl, you must still distinguish and discern between, is that true or is it false? As a man, you must see through deception and lies. You must look at the fruit she bears in her life to truly get an answer on who she is. Do not be led astray, because, as I say all the time, you're responsible for the quality of woman that you choose. Red flags are always going to be there from the beginning. First few weeks, first few months, even the first year or so, before you get engaged, move in, or get married. Looking back, you will always be able to see, oh, I got involved with the wrong woman. Well, you knew because the red flags were there, you just chose to ignore them. There are good women out there that have a noble character and they are worthy of your commitment and your investment in them. But you must know what you're looking for. They might profess to know Christ, but watch out. It doesn't matter how beautiful she is. It doesn't matter if you think it's love. If a woman is persuading you to sin or giving you signs that she will not be a submissive wife, end the relationship. It is best for a Christian man to find a true Christian woman. Proverbs 31 verse 12. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. Now, if you open the Bible and you look at Proverbs 31 verse 10 and carry on a little bit further, it gives you the description of what God says a good woman is and should aspire to be. And more specifically, the blueprint of what a man should look for in a woman. So there you have it. A good woman, she's not going to harm you. She's going to do no wrong to you. She will honor you and she will be the joy of your life. So now that we've gone through the introduction, let's get into the first sign, or the first Bible verse that describes an ungodly woman. Proverbs 5 verse 6. For she cares nothing about the path to life. She staggers down a crooked trail and doesn't realize it. So now, my sons, listen to me. Never stray from what I'm about to say. Stay away from her. Don't go near the door of her house. How many men have been turned into pussified little boys because they led with their lust and they gave their hearts and their all to the wrong woman? If you get involved with one of these feminist women, superficial, attention-seeking, emotionally damaged women, a modernized woman who doesn't care about family, who doesn't care about relationships, who doesn't care about marriage, who doesn't care about God, who's out partying on the weekends, clubbing, drinking, living for herself, who's vain, she's going to do nothing but bring you harm because she's only out for her own needs. Do not get involved with such a woman. Number 2, Proverbs 7 verse 24 through 26. Now, then, my sons, listen to me. Pay attention to what I say. Do not let your heart turn to her ways or stray into her paths. Many are the victims she has brought down. Her slain are a mighty throng. So this verse is describing what happens when men get involved with promiscuous women, unsubmissive women, ungodly women. This is why, as a man, you lead, because the man is the head of the home. And when you are incapable of leading yourself, you don't know who you are, your life isn't in order, your emotions aren't in check, you aren't stable mentally, financially, you do not have your lust or your sexual urges under control, you do not have strong boundaries, you do not have confidence, you have not embraced your masculinity, you are very likely to put yourself in danger when you enter courtship, when you enter a relationship, because the things that I've just mentioned, if you do not have them in order, then you're going to be led astray by the wrong woman, because you're going to lead through your eyes, through your desire for companionship and just to be around a beautiful woman without going deeper than that. So you're going to look past all of the problems, and this is what happens. Men don't know how to lead themselves. They have no discipline. They have no principles that they stand on. And what happens? They become animalistic and they get involved with such women that take control of them. You become submissive. You become weak. You become the woman in the relationship. And she's leading you by the nose and telling you what to do. Guys, women do not control the frame of their relationship. Neither do they want to. Even those feminists and those women that are very, very masculine, even they will learn to despise you and be disgusted with you, because no woman at her core finds that attractive. Women desire masculine men that are confident, that are motivated, that are ambitious, that know what they want out of life, men that are strong, men that have courage. That is attractive to a woman, because when you're masculine, she can relax and be feminine. You create the space for her to be a feminine woman. And any woman or any man that tells you that that isn't true, they are lying to themselves, and they need to do some serious work on their character. So be careful. If you get involved with the wrong woman, she will lead you astray down the wrong path. Number 3, Proverbs 21 verse 19. It is better to live in a desert than with a quarrelsome and nagging wife. Guys, before you make the ultimate commitment, you want to know what she's like through every situation, through ups and downs. What about when you have a disagreement, when she's upset? How does she communicate? There is nothing worse than getting involved with a lady who, she may be beautiful out here, but if her core is rotten and all she does is nag you and moan and complain, that will chisel away at your masculinity and it will cause you deep sorrow. Avoid such women. Number 4, Proverbs 27 verse 15 through 16. A continual dripping on a rainy day and a contentious wife are alike. Trying to keep her in check is like stopping a windstorm or grabbing oil with your right hand. It is utterly pointless. Well, there you go. Nothing for me to comment on that one. It's very obvious. Number 5, Proverbs 25 verse 24. It is better to live in a corner of the housetop than in a house shared with a quarrelsome wife. Again, no comment. Number 6, Proverbs 12 verse 4. A wife with strength of character is the crown of her husband, but the wife who disgraces him is like bone cancer. Now that's deep. So this verse is letting us know that a wife that is of noble character, she's virtuous, virtuous. She's the strength of your character, right? She will be your crown. In other words, she will bring you joy. You will trust in her. She will bring you peace. She will add value to your life. You will be happy to have her under your wing. Whereas a wife who disgraces you, it compares that to bone cancer. Do you know how deadly bone cancer is? That is one of the worst things that you could ever go through. And this is what the Word of God is comparing the wrong wife to. Bone cancer. This will, a wrong woman, or in this case, the wrong wife, who's unsubmissive and rudely ungodly, she's rude, she's disrespectful. This woman will bring you pain, a world of ailment and sickness, not just emotionally and mentally, but physically. I mean, your entire body will break down because of the trauma and the abuse that you'll be put through. It is not good to be with such a woman. So men, be wise before you commit to a lady. Because a woman who's nagging and complaining, as it said in the previous 2 verses, it will lead to this. And we've all seen men like this. You know, somebody who's married to the wrong woman, who's been with her for many years, you can see in his eyes, he's trapped. He's begging to get out. But he doesn't have any strength left because she's sapped it all. She's taken it all out of him. And these men become so weak, they give up. They've already got one foot in the grave and they've got nothing to live for. And it is very, very sad to see. And they become bitter and hateful and they think all women are the same. Then they go MGTOW, which is disgusting. Be very careful of who you commit yourself to. I think nobody wants a wife that is alike to or akin to bone cancer. Number 7, Proverbs 14 verse 1. A wise woman builds her home, but a foolish woman tears it down with her own hands. Very interesting. How many monkey branching videos have I shared on the channel of men who have shared their experiences with me and with you, where they overlooked the red flags. They were leading with their desire for sex or neediness, and they committed, they moved in, they lived, they cohabited with such a woman. They married her. They invested financially, emotionally, spiritually into this lady. And what did they get in return? A woman who split the home in half by betraying him with another woman, with another man, and breaking up the family life. See, a good woman, you give her a house, she'll give you a home. But a bad woman, she will tear down that home with her own hands. Very interesting. Again, I don't need to make too much of a comment on this one. You can go watch my monkey branching videos and that will make sense. Number 8, Proverbs 11 verse 12. A beautiful woman who lacks discretion is like a gold ring in a pig's snout. I really like this one. So, a beautiful woman who is not clothed with modesty, who doesn't have any dignity, who gives her body to everyone, who puts herself out on display for the public to see, is an abomination. Because she's revealing who she is on the inside by her very actions. See, you can tell a lot about someone by being an outside observer, by simply looking at them. A lot of times we don't take this seriously, but we should. Men, when you first meet a girl, look at her. Look how she carries herself. Look how she dresses. That reveals the innermost workings of her heart. Women that are modest, women that have dignity and value their purity and have self-control, they don't want attention from random men. They don't put themselves in situations that could bring them harm. Instead, good women seek the presence of one man that they learn to care about and love, and of their friends and their family, which are good people. Whereas women that are insecure, have low self-esteem, promiscuous, have a damaged or a broken sense of femininity, they may appear to be beautiful, but they show off more than they need. Okay, you see it with lots of girls today. They walk around dressed very slutty. Their bodies are out on social media. They think that this is going to get them good men, when it only brings attention from guys that want to use them or take advantage of them sexually and physically. A beautiful woman who lacks discretion is like a gold ring in a pig's snout. So she's beautiful, but to a man who has character, to a man who has self-control and standards for himself, you're going to look at a beautiful woman and think, she's pretty, but her body's out on display. So this isn't going to be for my eyes only and for her eyes only, it's for the world. A woman like that, they don't make good wives and good mothers. And they will definitely bring you down with them, so you want to avoid them. But a woman who's modest and chaste, those are the qualities that us men find attractive and we respect. Because we may find a beautiful woman who lacks discretion attractive, but we will give that woman no respect. We will not want to honor her. We will not see her as any value. Whereas a woman who does have that modesty, and she does clothe herself with that dignity, whilst also being beautiful, now that is what we look for. Continuing on. Number 9. Proverbs 5 verses 3 through 4. For the lips of an immoral woman are as sweet as honey, and her mouth is smoother than oil. But in the end, she's as bitter as poison, as dangerous as a double-edged sword. I love this. And this is a clear example of why you should never trust what somebody says to you, especially when they're a stranger. Instead, look at their life choices. Look at their actions, day in, day out. Do their actions and words match? If so, give them a little bit of trust until they earn it fully from you. But if what they say and what they do doesn't seem to fit, you guard your heart and you protect yourself from such an individual. And in this case, it's telling us about the immoral woman. Women who lie and deceive, gold diggers and users, women that take advantage of men. They will use their beauty and seduce weak men. Do not let this be you. Observe. Does it match? Okay, don't give your trust away so easily. A woman should earn that from you. Be very careful. Number 10. Proverbs 2 verse 16. Wisdom will save you also from the adulterous woman, from the wayward woman with her seductive words. I love this. Well, look at my videos, for example. All the different, again, monkey branching topics which have been very popular, which I cover, and I break down the characteristics and traits of ungodly women, so that as a young man who's watching, you can protect yourself from getting involved and find yourself in a marriage with such a woman. Because knowledge, truth, gaining wisdom and then applying it to your life, it can help you. You know, for example, in this case, it's telling us that wisdom can save us from an adulterous woman, which is true because you learn to distinguish between a good woman and a bad one. And then you can see past her beauty. But it's with other things in life too. If you become a wise man and knowledgeable, for example, on exercise and nutrition, then you can learn to cook healthier recipes. You can find a better workout program that's tailored and suited for your needs. And then you can acquire better gains and get better results out of that. With anything, you know, the more you learn about finances, investing, real estate, stocks and cryptocurrency, and passive income, business, whatever happens to be, you can find ways to increase your wealth by generating more sources of cash flow and passive income. So wisdom is extremely important, and it's an asset to the overall success and well-being of your life. So remember, men, keep this information close to your heart because your emotions and your feelings, they can deceive you. But your principles, your morals, your standards, your boundaries, and your deal breakers, these things are there to protect you from those who will do you harm, whether it's a business partner, a co-worker, other men who may covet what you have and be out to get you, or in this case, the wrong woman, bad women who may take advantage of you. You want to prevent yourself from getting involved with such people. So wisdom will save you from the adulterous woman, from the wayward woman with her seductive words. I agree 100%, and I love that verse. Number 11, Proverbs 22 verse 14. The mouth of an adulterous woman is a deep pit. A man who is under the Lord's wrath falls into it. See, when you become godless and you turn away from the Lord, when you live for pleasure, for vanity, to satisfy your own flesh, you live a sexually immoral life, and you turn away from God's wisdom, you don't have his protection because you're disobeying truth. And it's funny, when you look around today, what's happened in the last, 50 years, 60 years? God has slowly been taken out of the school system of our society, and everything's become so degenerate, even though they're saying it's progressive, but they don't tell you where it's progressing to, because we know where it goes, nowhere. And this is what we have. You have men and women that they just led astray. If your morals don't come from God, I'll be the first one to tell you, you don't have any morality. Truth is objective, and you must conform your subjective opinion to what is objectively true, to what is proven to be righteous and good for the benefit of all. See, when you only care about sex and you care about something casual, you don't care about going deeper when meeting women. And this is what happens to the average guy. The mouth of an adulterous woman is a deep pit. You fall right into it. You fall into a trap. And then you ruin your life. You have kids out of wedlock, or worse, you get married and have kids with a woman who's going to leave you eventually for someone else because she couldn't pair bond with you, because you didn't even look into these things. And then you ruin your life. And then you spend the next 10, 20 years cleaning up after your own mistakes. This is what happens. Number 12, Romans verse 1 through 26. That is why God abandoned them to their shameful desires. Even the women turned against the natural way to have sex and instead indulge in sex with each other. Well, Sodom and Gomorrah giving us a little bit of information on what happens when people turn away from God. They have evil in their hearts and they're led away with promiscuity and, all this degeneracy we see today. Number 13, Proverbs 6 verse 23 through 29. For their command is a lamp, and their instruction a light. Their corrective discipline is the way to life. It will keep you from the immoral woman, from the smooth tongue of a promiscuous woman. Don't lust for her beauty. Don't let her coy glances seduce you. For a prostitute will bring you to poverty, but sleeping with another man's wife will cost you your life. Can a man scoop a flame into his lap and not have his clothes catch on fire? Can he walk on hot coals and not blister his feet? So it is with the man who sleeps with another man's wife. He who embraces her will not go unpunished. Now here's warning you on faithfulness, on integrity. What happens when you go against loyalty? It's very, very dangerous, and it's true, you're playing with fire. And for everybody watching, men and women, stay away from such people. If you're single and you're willing, ready to court and date and seek a relationship, stay away from members of the opposite sex who are committed, who have a boyfriend, who have they've got a husband. Guys, stay away from such women. I mean, if it's not obvious enough, I've covered a few of these in my monkey branching videos, which you can go through, and it never ends well. There's nothing for me to say on this. It's just, this is in plain sight. Number 14. Proverbs 5 verse 20. I love how they're all Proverbs. Proverbs is one of my favourite books in the Bible. I've read it many times. A lot of wisdom, very rich. Proverbs 5 verse 20. Why be captivated, my son, by an immoral woman, or fondle the breasts of a promiscuous woman? Why? What joy, what value does that woman bring? You're not the only one. You're not her first draft pick. There's other men. She's handing out her body like candy at a fair. Why be captivated, my son, by an immoral woman, or fondle the breasts of a promiscuous woman? You tell me. 15. Proverbs 7 verses 8 through 12. He was crossing the street near the house of an immoral woman, strolling down the path by her house. It was at twilight in the evening, as deep darkness fell. The woman approached him, seductively dressed and sly of heart. She was the brash, rebellious type, never content to stay at home. She's often in the streets and markets, soliciting at every corner. I love this. We've all heard that saying, right? She's for the streets. Where do you think it comes from, fellas? It comes from the Word of God. There you go. Proverbs 7 verse 8 through 12 tells you. Good women are homely. Good women are going to be out during the day. The darkness, the evil, the bad deeds are done always at night, are they not? Okay, it said that the woman approached him seductively dressed. She was rebellious, never the type to stay at home. She's often on the streets and the corners, and the markets. Well, there you go. You want to avoid such women. These women are under no protection of their fathers. These women are not under the protection of God. They live for themselves. They rebel against order and morality. These feminist type of women who believe in all this equality and sameness, which destroys the beautiful differences between the sexes. These are the women that are immoral, that think somehow they're empowered when they reject their own femininity, when they reject wifehood and motherhood, to be promiscuous and live like the girls do in Sex and the City. These women are degenerates. Stay away from them. They're very easy to spot. Number 16. Proverbs 23 verse 27 to 28. A prostitute is a dangerous trap. A promiscuous woman is as dangerous as falling into a narrow well. She hides and waits like a robber, eager to make more men unfaithful. Isn't that interesting? Bad women, it's like they're like collecting different men and bringing them down because they have so much hatred and anguish from their broken childhoods, from more than likely growing up without a father or a good father figure, and they seek the wrong thing in life. How many cases have there been of men that have been divorced and these women have taken all of their wealth and they make up lies that these men were abusive and such, so that these poor men they don't have any control over being able to see their sons and daughters after that woman already split up the home. This is what bad women do. They don't believe in marriage. They don't believe in the sanctity of that commitment, but yet they will commit to you. They will lie to you. They will manipulate you, and then they steal everything from you, and you're left with nothing. Don't let that be you. Guys, you've got to choose better women, because that's what it is. A promiscuous woman is as dangerous as falling into a narrow well. She hides and waits like a robber. 17. Proverbs 30 verse 20. This is the way of an adulterous woman. She eats and wipes her mouth and says, I've done nothing wrong. I've covered different videos and I've had different people reach out to me where they've been involved with cheaters. And many times when they caught such a narcissistic Jezebel woman, she said, I've done nothing wrong. It's your fault. You made me do it. You weren't meeting my needs. And these guys are so broken that they believe such a lady. You see what I mean? I've done nothing wrong. This is what these rebellious women are like. And you want to avoid them. 18. Mark 10 verse 12. And if she divorces her husband and marries another, she commits adultery. Now this is very interesting. Biblically speaking, if you are married, the only reason for divorce is when your spouse commits sexual immorality. In other words, they are adulterous. They cheat on you with someone else. That is the only exception for you to divorce a spouse. And then you are, biblically speaking, you are allowed to remarry. The other thing is if your spouse passes away, right? So if your spouse betrays you or just divorces you because they're unhappy or whatever, right? And they go off and marry someone else, they're actually committing adultery because they're still married to you, because their divorce is unbiblical. It goes against God's word because they're only divorcing you for their own selfish gain. And that tells you a lot about God's heart. If she divorces her husband and marries another, she commits adultery. Guys, stay away from women. If you meet a woman and she's had a divorce and she broke up with that guy, but that man did not betray her, then biblically speaking, she's actually still tied to him. That soul tie is still there. She's still one flesh with him. Only if your spouse has betrayed you with another person do you have the right to not only divorce them, but start again fresh with someone else, if you so choose. That's the way out God gives you, because it's moral, right? If someone's betrayed you, of course you're able to do such a thing. But if they haven't betrayed you and they broke up with you because they wanted to, meet someone else who they haven't done anything physical with yet, well, their life is going to always end in shambles, because their newfound relationship is based on a lie. I recommend you guys look into that. Very, very interesting. Now we get to we've covered 18. 19. 1 Timothy verse 5 through 13. And if they are on the list, they will learn to be lazy and will spend their time gossiping from house to house, meddling in other people's business and talking about things they shouldn't. So this is warning you against gossiping women, women that you can't trust to keep any information with, anything private, because they simply blab. Stay away from such women. I mean, it's obvious. And finally, probably one of my favorite ones of all, number 20. 1 Corinthians verse 15 through 33. Do not be deceived. Bad company ruins good morals. And this is something I covered in one of my recent videos with my ex. And there's plenty of different examples on my channel of this. What have I always said? Something I learned the hard way. Avoid women who keep company of other bad women. Because bad company corrupts good morals. If her friends are promiscuous and they're out drinking and they're cheating on their boyfriends, or these girls can't seem to hold down a man and they're abusive and they have no respect towards their family, they ruin themselves with drugs and other vanity and with a bad lifestyle, why do you think your lady is friends with such women? She's going to be led astray. She's going to become just like them if she hasn't already. And you also run the risk too. If, as a man, you surround yourself with the wrong men, with bad men, they will lead you astray too. However, in this case, obviously, we're talking about bad women and, evil women and bad wives, as the title says. So that's just another simple way. By simply being an onlooker, an observer, you can look into it and see the contents of her heart simply by looking at what she's doing. If all of her friends are 304s, if all of her friends are slutty, right? Why do you think she's friends with them? If she has the same values, of course. People that like the same things tend to like each other. So if she's built fellowship with such women, it's because she's just like them. So choose a godly woman who has friends that are feminine, that are traditional, that are moral, that are good girls. And look at their lifestyles. Do they add up? Are they the same? And that's what you look for. Anyways, so there's 5 more Bible verses in the rest of this article, which I'll leave it up to you guys. You can take a look yourselves when you watch the article. So that's the end of the video, guys. Those are 20 Bible verses that describe evil women and bad wives. And I wanted to share this with all of you because it is important. And I know a lot of young guys watch the channel, and not everybody grows up in a good home where they have a good father figure that is going to teach them these things or prepare them. Because when it comes to relationships and marriage, I see so many men that are just so broken that they think all women are the same, that they think marriage is a bad thing. Marriage is not a bad thing. The Bible says he who finds a wife finds a good thing. A wife, a good woman, a woman of noble character, who's virtuous, who's feminine, a good woman who will do no harm to you, that woman is going to be good to you. Because marriage is the institution that God created to join men and women together so that they will find great happiness in serving Him and serving one another, and to be an example of what love should be, so that children can grow up in a healthy home, so that they can see mum and dad love each other. That's the best way to teach children about love, to see mum and dad respect and love one another. Not everybody grows up in a good home. However, everybody should. It should be abnormal, it should be abstract to see kids growing up in single parent households. Unless, your spouse passes away or something unfortunate like that. You go back 50, 70 years ago, people would be horrified to see the way the world is today. Look at the divorce rate. Look at the immorality and the godlessness. Thanks, feminism. However, can't blame feminism itself. We have to blame the weak men and women, the godless men and women that have allowed it to get to this point. And then you get crybaby men that want to go MGTOW, men going their own way. That is what children do, because real men lead the way. These same men that want to say all women are the same, yet they go out there and use women and sleep with them, and they have no intention of leading them or honoring them. They're not going their own way. They're no different than feminists that cry that all men are the same, which is also untrue, because there's good ones and bad ones of both genders. But when it comes to relationships and marriage, people are so scared because they're not prepared. Somehow, when it comes to a job, you go to a job interview, right? You need to have your CV. You need to show that you're experienced, that you're ready and you're prepared. You do your driving license. Or remember what it was like. You have to prepare, or else you're going to fail. You want to be a doctor. After you finish studying medicine, you've got to do your residency to prove that you're ready to be a doctor and practice medicine. But somehow, when it comes to one of the most, or if not the most important area of our life, our intimate romantic relationships, nobody takes the time to prepare. Very few men take it upon themselves to prepare to be a husband or a father one day. To know what it takes to embrace your masculinity, to cut out all your unhealthy habits, to develop self-control, to master yourself, to set yourself up financially, emotionally, and mentally. Very few women are raised and prepared to be good housewives and mothers, to be honorable, noble women of character. People don't want to prepare for relationships and marriage. They watch a few Disney movies and they think they're ready. And then you wonder why the world is the way it is. Look how many children are being born out of wedlock. Look at the abortion rate. Divorce. Look at the infidelity. And then you've got men and women on both sides saying that they're unhappy, that they're miserable. And then they want to blame the opposite gender. Well, it starts with you. Put in the work. Make yourself the best version possible. Okay? Be righteous. Be moral. And then go out there. Filter through the red flags. Avoid the women that are unworthy of you. And find a good one. Pretty simple, isn't it? It's in your hands. But prepare yourself. You should be taking corrective measure and, little steps to be a good man. Knowing what to look for in women, knowing what to avoid. Self-acceptance, self-improvement, all of it. You have to do it yourselves, man. Don't complain and cry about the feminists or the bad girls. Avoid those ladies. Don't get involved with those women, because you know where that path will lead you. Find a good, traditional, feminine woman who doesn't just say that, who lives like that, who shows you through her actions There's evidence and proof that determine that she's telling you the truth. That is what you want to look for. Okay? Relationships, marriage is a beautiful thing if done correctly. I have an uncle and aunt who have been married for over 40 years. They were their first boyfriend and girlfriend and they found love. And they've had a great relationship. They've got 4 kids and they've got grandkids. My parents have been married 25 years. In total 29, they dated 4 years before getting married, so 29. They're doing all right. Relationships and marriage can be a good thing with the right partner. But it's in your hands to choose such a partner and become the type of partner, that you need to become in order to have a successful relationship or a successful marriage. Prepare yourself. If you're not ready, that's okay. But you shouldn't be out there courting and dating if your life isn't in order, men. You need to set yourself up. If you can't lead yourself, how can you lead women? How can you lead children? Just because, you grew up in a broken home or you grew up in a dysfunctional home doesn't mean the same type of family has to come from you. Be the type of man you would like your future son to become. Be the type of man you would like your future daughter or daughters to marry or aspire to be with. And be the type of man your future girlfriend or wife will be proud of, will love, will honor, will respect. You've got to put in the work. You can't sit there and blame women. Sort yourself out. Stop engaging in casual sex. Stay away from promiscuity. Because I'll tell you something about promiscuity. If it doesn't hurt you, the person it hurts the most is your future spouse. Stay away from pornography. Practice semen retention. Develop self-control and discipline. Master your sexual urges. Control your flesh. Develop strong principles. Work out. Get in a healthy state of mind. Build a life that you're happy and proud of. And when you're at peace, when you're stable, you will make better choices. And you will be well on your way to be prepared. And so when you come across a good woman, you can further things along naturally. And you can stay in your own lane and be the man, be masculine. And if you come across a girl who's got the red flags, you can say yippee-yi-hey and cut her out of your life. And that's that. But it's up to you. Don't become bitter, resentful, hateful. All this division we see today, MGTOW feminism, men and women against each other, that's not the way it's supposed to be. Because men and women, we do need each other. We have certain qualities and traits because we're equal opposites. We're not the same. There's differences between the sexes, and that's a beautiful thing. Not to complete one another, but to complement one another. To come together and build something beautiful. If anything, future children, the future generations need good examples of godly fathers and mothers. Good men and good women. Or else where are they going to get their role models from? Celebrities? So, be the change you want to see. Be a good man. Choose a good woman. Right? That's all I wanted to say for today. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And again, the article is down below, so if you want to take a look, take a look. If any of you would like to reach out to me privately or share your story, my email will also be down in the description. So leave your comments, down in the comment section, leave your thoughts on this video. I'd definitely like to know what you guys have to say. With all of that said, I hope you all have a wonderful Friday. God bless all of you and your families. I'll see you guys in the next one.